Welcome everyone. This is Aleta St James and I'm broadcasting to you from Hell's Kitchen, and we're going to be doing something that's going to take you to even a higher level of consciousness than our other broadcasts before, because we're talking about you being the change. Now, many light workers and groups with angelic presences have been doing meditations, especially with all these retrograde planets. Anybody who doesn't know anything about astrology, there are about 5 planets, major planets like Pluto, Jupiter, Mercury, it was Venus, that actually were backwards. And so within that backward configuration, it creates a lot of chance for change if you use it in the right direction. Now, what you're looking at here is a Merkava symbol, which is a very high spiritual symbol of huge dimension. It can go up to the 11th and 12th chakra, it can be in the 6th dimension. It is an amazing configuration of light frequency that I'm going to translate and transfer to you today so that you actually start to vibrate that inside of your body, so that you are part of the massive change that is going on right now, internally as well as externally on the planet. The thing that's most interesting right now is that for many of us, going through the pandemic has made major shifts in our lives in terms of how we're looking at things. It creates extremes. It creates people either blowing things up and then coming to a certain resolution, or actually getting closer together and understanding what human relationships are about. And what's my life's purpose? Why am I here? Is it to be a consumer? I think if anything, the pandemic has leveled that one out in terms of consumption. People are spending less money. They're enjoying things more. So our values are shifting. And then with this whole explosion with George Floyd and the whole racial injustice that's going on that we're looking to harmonize and find solutions for. And I spoke about the only way we're going to do that is through spiritual unity and solutions, and believing in the picture of what this country was really about, what the globe, what our planet is really about, which is unity, oneness, love, and connection, and consideration and compassion for our brothers and sisters. And that's not to say that we're not strong in terms of who we are and the protection that we might need to have within ourselves and in our law and all of those things that we function under. But the truth is, we want justice and love and compassion and spirituality to come to the top and to lead us. So on an everyday practice, we've been working very diligently to keep raising your vibrational rate so that you're operating from the miraculous, the field of love, that infinity, that quantum field that goes beyond our physical limitation. The Merkaba symbol actually comes into your body and helps you vibrate to that higher consciousness once you're ready. And I feel like I've prepared you with the other videos, with my work and others people's work on the planet, to open up today to receive that frequency. Because right now, the planet needs the highest frequency coming from how we are changing internally our own self, how we're loving ourselves more, how we're loving others more, how we have more compassionate towards other people and empathy, as well as solutions and resolutions. It's not enough just to meditate and send light to the planet. You need to put into solutions and resolutions in terms of what we need to do to change. We need to stand solid in terms of what we know are the right things we need to put into place that are going to make the change. So you be the change, and the change will also come. It's not enough to hear rhetoric about different things. We need action, and that's why the violence erupted, and now thank God, in so many instances, it has died down and it's peaceful protests. And the people that were taking advantage with looting have stopped. At least that's been so in New York City, and I think around the country. And now we can get to the essence of what is the change inside of us that has to come to the top and create the change in the world. Flexibility is a quality and a trait that we are being called upon right now. Things are not the way they were. And it's very important, if you make a plan, that you have the ability to be not only flexible with yourself, but flexible with other people, because things change in nanoseconds, whether it's the states that are changing, or the whole federal government that's changing, or Europe that's changing. It's changing its dynamics constantly, and where we need to fit into those dynamics. So you have to be the center of stability in your own being and understand who you are and the possibilities of shifting the negative stuff and blocks that happen in your life that you do not get stuck in. Rue Joy wrote a beautiful book back in the 70s, I believe. And in that book, he talked about the different kinds of personalities that people can have, multiple personalities. So right now, Sue can be in her own personality and she has diabetes. And as soon as she turns into Patricia, she has heart disease. And when she turns into Claire, she is fine. And every time that person changed into those personalities, they develop that disease. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the disease and the physiology and the mental idea that we are holding on to creates the disease in our body and creates the disease in our country that we are moving way beyond right now with spiritual energy. And there's such a cry for that. So on a daily basis, how do you survive the pandemic and then all of a sudden the protests and the different injustices that we're seeing have happened for hundreds of years to minorities? How do you survive that? Well, I will tell you, people that do spiritual practices that integrate the mind, the emotion, and the physical, and then integrate the spiritual with it, are looking great during this whole time. They're really coming to a higher level of consciousness. And that's why I implore you on a daily basis, make this your practice. Listen to the videos, listen to other spiritual masters, energy healers, do other meditations, but make that part of your daily practice, because you need to learn how to vibrate to higher levels of consciousness. I've been doing this work 40 plus years. So people will say to me, you look so young. Why do I look young? Because I'm channeling light. I'm not just talking about the light. I'm not just, intellectually conceptualizing about the light. I actually work in light meditations during my private practice, in my remote sessions with people, when I'm leading meditations, and at least 2 hours a day right now, so that my frequency can bump up to the energy level that I need to transfer to you right now so that you can move up. There was a guru once in India that he had all his devotees sitting at his feet. They said, how do we get to the level of enlightenment, guru? And the guru went and picked some mud up and rolled it in a ball, and he said, it's taken me these many years with all this knowledge, and I give this to you in this little capsule right now. So everything right now is not only knowledge, but it's an exchange of frequency. It's not just intellectual. You have to understand it in the brain to allow yourself to accept it. But once you accept it, then you need to allow yourself to open up to a higher frequency. And the only way that you can do that is to allow yourself to be in the present. And that's through breathing, and that's through meditation practices. But the key is, and what I bring into the work, is I bring in the emotional body. Because, look, I've traveled around the world. I've been in monasteries. I've seen children, monks, chanting from when they're 6. But you can chant and be in a vibrational rate, but unless you understand what the blocks are in the emotional body, you don't really shift. Unless you know how they translate into the physical, that's your densest part. So you've got a schizophrenic situation where you're always on top of yourself. Your mind and your spiritual energy can't integrate into your physical and emotional. So through these videos, and that's why I'm doing them every week, because people are giving me so much great feedback. Thank you, Aleta. Thanks for doing this. I'm learning so much. You're helping me through this. You're saving my life. I was really depressed. I was anxious. And so I want you to take everything that I do on these Sunday videos and work with them, because it is practice. You can get into nanoseconds, into the light, but you have to practice doing that. I studied in the Actualism Center for about 12 years, light work. It was really serious. They had a 25-year course. I studied, integrated awareness with Connie Newton, which is the I am the light, and primal therapy, and bioenergetics, and many, many myriads of things, Eastern and Western, to be able to translate to you a quick version of how you can accelerate into your higher spiritual self and connect that into your body. And from there, instead of seeing the things that aren't working in your life right now on the everyday basis, like say, for instance, the relationships that might be blowing up, all right? More alcoholism and more drugs are being, happening right now across the board, because people that don't work on themselves, that's the only option that they have. Let's deaden it out. But then the anger in the projection in relationships, brutality is like 50% up. We don't need that. Domestic abuse, child abuse. If you're coming from a higher perspective and not projecting your anger and your insecurities and your resentments on your partner, and you're just coming from a higher self that we'll work with today, again, to get you there, then that's what you're going to get fed back to you. I've seen the most vicious fights happen right now in terms of relationships. And then I've seen the most miraculous healings by just holding the outcome in the miraculous, in the higher dimensions, without thinking, how is this going to happen? Just seeing with the emotional feeling of, how does this feel if this relationship were really working at its highest potential? And holding the feeling and the imagination, and then allowing that to move into the body. And before you know it, couples start to interact that way. The same thing with fertility, the same thing with building your business. So many of my personal clients that come to me for remote sessions right now, and that are doing the meditations and are reading the books and are working with other people as well, are actually thriving in terms of figuring out new businesses and creating new forms of income. They're not stuck. And if they feel stuck, they can reach out in their dream team of support, which I talk about in the book Life Shift that I wrote on this very bed here in 2004, right after the babies were born. They were sitting next to me in their 2 car seats, and I had 3 months to write this book. Thank God I had a great book proposal that I worked years on to make spiritual, important shifts for you happen really easily, and that you could understand how to use these spiritual principles with meditations and with baths and with all sorts of wonderful stories and with principles that you could use. Like right now, one of the chapters has to do with alpha burnout. Alpha burnout. I can't do one more thing. How many people have absolutely hit the wall? I know children have, mine have. All of a sudden, the last week before school, shut down, don't want to do any work, tired of it. And, I'm thinking from my, 50s mentality. Oh my God, you're going to fail. This is horrible. But meanwhile, back on the ranch, so many children are doing this. And if I just get current, I can loosen up on my children because it's really hard for them to learn like this. And just reframe how I was brought up and what happened to me and how I went forward in the world to what actually is happening right now. And it's stressful. And okay, lighten up, Aleta. And I did. Let's let him have some fun for a while because it's been hard. So that's adapting and changing. If you do the same thing every day in the same way, there is no way you're ever going to change. Never. You need to wake up in the morning, and I've been saying this, and I know that it works so well until it actually becomes part of you. I mean, I can walk down the street and I have clients that tell me that, and all of a sudden I'm hit by appreciation and gratitude for the things that I'm creating in this pandemic and going through all this upheaval in terms of this whole racial situation and finding the solutions for justice. I'm feeling a sense of appreciation and gratitude coming from a heart center that I've been working on to really feel that love. Also, many of my clients are saying the same thing. All of a sudden, they feel like they're transported into this feeling of unconditional love for themselves, which has been a barrier for most of us because we come into expectation of what we're supposed to do in order to feel that we're worthy to love ourselves. You know what? You just start loving yourself for who you are. It's very easy to take that for granted. To keep going, oh, okay, I did that. Now what's the next thing I have to do? And what's the next thing I have to do? Because I've got to keep it moving. But sure, you want to keep it moving, but you also want to keep it with a sense of appreciation and gratitude for everything that you have done and everything that is coming into your life. It's that whole thing, and I use it a lot when God winks. Most of the time, we forget it. What is that story about, the person's drowning and they say, oh, please, God, I've been so good. Just send me a boat. And then God sends a raft. No, I just want a boat. And then God sends a helicopter. No, I'm waiting for the boat. And then finally the person drowns. They go up to heaven and they say, what happened? I've been such a great devotee. I believed in you. And you let me down. And then God said, I sent you the big boat. I sent you the helicopter. I sent you the parachute. You were looking for that thing in your mind, in your life blueprint that said, I need the raft. You got to let go of that stuff right now. You have to become the change. You need to be flexible. You need to look at what's showing up in your life and how you need to shift, because the universe, the angels, the higher spiritual energies are listening to you. Abraham says, ask and it shall be given. If you do not ask, it will not be given. The energy doesn't wait for you to say, it looks like this. I think the person needs that. No, it's a free will planet. You need to be able to say, ask. This is what I need to come into my life. I deserve it. The more that I receive, the more that I will give, and the more flow that goes on back and forth, the more joy and support and love I feel, and then I lift other people up. That's very important. When you come from joy right now, and happiness, but not pretends, smiley, whatever, new age, now we're all in a bubble and everything's fine. The Merkaba's here and we're in the triangles, the hexagons. No, you have to really ground it and feel it. Like, I'm really happy. I don't have thousands and hundreds of dollars in the bank right now. I'm trying to manifest and shift and bring up my children or start a new business or, even plan a trip. There are people that are actually planning a trip right now just because they need a change and a shift, because they're trying to be creative. So what are you doing in your life when you get up in the morning? I've been saying, hit the ground. Wayne Dyer, thank you, thank you, thank you. But don't only say thank you. What are you thanking the universe for? How about your body, your being, your life? It's the biggest gift that you can have. Pandemic, bull market, everything's coming up roses. The 60s, when we went through all this turmoil, which is nothing like this, by the way. This is like global. I mean, I was in the marches. I understand that. That was a precursor to this whole big explosion that's going on, that's going to take us to the next level. So as we're moving, it becomes a joy to be in the physical body. Say, why did I reincarnate here? What was my life's purpose? What was I trying to evolve into, that from another past life, or where I was at? What consciousness am I moving to experience in this life? So it's not a wasted life. I just went through my cousin going and making his transition. He passed in 5 days. I wasn't expecting that. We were working on Walt Whitman, all right, for him, for us to film, and for me to direct. He did it brilliantly, and I spoke about this. Did he know that in 5 days that was going to be off the boards? In this dimension anyway. I don't know what he's doing in the other dimensions, but I will tell you this, that his picture that we had at the funeral, his baby picture, has fallen off the shelf 3 times. Once when we were finished with the funeral, and I came in and his picture had just fallen, smashed on the ground. It's impossible to fall from the shelf. And there was a plant that fell. Impossible. It was in the middle of the desk. Okay, Jimmy's talking. He wants to get my attention. And there are certain things that he wanted. He wanted his obituary. He wanted certain things done, things that were in the flow. And then the other night, 4:30 in the morning, I was doing the angelic Merkaba meditation with the group. I walk out in my studio into the bathroom and boom, it fell again. Jimmy was telling me, be creative. Don't feel sad that I'm not here. That was a big message. Don't feel sad I'm not here. Take the creativity that I inspired inside of you since you were born, and I taught you how to walk and talk, which he did, and put you on the stage at 8, and everything that you did in your life. Get excited about the fact that you can create that in the healing world, in translating it to other people. You be all that you can be. 4:30 in the morning, message, newsflash, Jimmy was talking. I thought, can you please stop falling off the shelf? I got it. All right, so he's in that dimension, and that's the only way he can communicate with me. Then that's the way it is. Normally when I'm working in sessions and I'm working with somebody and their loved one has passed away, the person that's on the other side does come in. But with Jimmy, I'm getting the orchestra of Crash. And listen to me right now. No sweet smells that usually come in, but real tangible, pay attention. So that's what I'm saying to you right now. You need to pay attention to what you're thinking and how you deal with things that come up in your life when they come at you, when you feel like you're being attacked, definitely when you feel like you're not being understood. Find somebody that can navigate that for you if you're in a relationship. Because most of the times in relationship, it's about miscommunication. It really is. And you can be speaking the same language or coming from a different country or being a heterosexual relationship or, similar gender relationship. I've done a lot of those weddings. Did the first gay wedding in Fashion Week, and weddings all over the world for heterosexual people and celebrities and whatever. It still comes down to communication. Male, female, 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 male, male. It's the same situation. So what are we communicating with inside of ourselves? How are we not being clear with what we want and how we feel we need to manifest it? That's what you have to look at. Ask yourself, start morning pages, where you start asking yourself those questions. What are the things that I am going to focus on today that are going to make a difference in how I view my day? What am I holding on to from yesterday that it's a hurt, a resentment, a feeling of being trapped? What do I need to let go of? And then do your breathing exercises, listen to a meditation, do chakra balance. You can find it on my website. Shift the energy, pick up a spiritual book. I mean, I have Life Shift here, but you can pick up any spiritual book and say, what do I need to know today? Boom, open the page and you'll see. And then you can read it and it'll give you that information. So we're in the trenches right now. It's like, it's not time not to work out spiritually. It's like you don't want a flabby body. You don't want a flabby spiritual self. You just don't. It's not going to help you in your physical. But once you allow those spiritual principles to take you over and you become that person that is moving you into the future where you're in the miraculous and you're starting to manifest things like thoughts. I see it. They say when you believe it, you'll see it. Not when I see it, I'll believe it. Think about this. When I believe it, I'll see it. And say that to yourself. When I believe it, I'll see it. What are the things that you want to manifest in your life right now where you feel stuck? We're going to do a meditation on that where you can let that go. The healing energy comes from the drum when I channel it. And then you're going to breathe, hold that for the count of 5 and then release it, because that's how you release the emotional body. You cannot release the emotional body from the mental. The mental gets it. The emotional body is your subconscious. It doesn't. It's programmed to feeling. The feelings are coming from the past. It's trauma. You don't want to start to move through trauma because the only thing that you can see is what happened to you in the past. I got rejected. I wasn't good enough. I never got, the job that I really wanted, or the man or the woman or the situation. I'm a loser, whatever it is, and meanwhile you could be really successful. I work with some really successful people, and somewhere down deep, they can feel like they're an impersonator. I got up and did a speech one day in front of a whole big group of the high-level people in fashion, and I said, how many of you feel like you're impersonators right now? And everybody laughed. Because somewhere inside of you, if you haven't connected to your heart center, to your higher spiritual self, you don't realize who you are. And you're wondering, how did I get here in the first place? And when am I going to fall from grace? That's where it gets really difficult. Because if you start to feel that any minute I can lose my position or my platform, then you're going to start acting out of insecurity. You're going to start being really arrogant. It goes into the triangle. First there's arrogance, then there's anger, then there's insecurity, and it's back up to arrogance again. If somebody's being arrogant to you, you know that they're insecure and they're angry, and that they're afraid that they're going to move their position. Somehow they feel that if they're God and everybody puts them in a certain position, that they're not going to die. Newsflash, you are going to die. And when you die and when you make your transition, you have to be accountable for how you used your life. And did you use the things in your life that are blessings and gifts for yourself and to help mankind? That is the only thing that counts in the end. That's it. Whether you live 32 years, 102 years, 72 years, whatever, in the end, that's where it comes to you and your higher spiritual self and your accountability. There's nobody else that's going to hold you accountable. It's your own vital life force energy. It's your soul that has started from the beginning to where it is right now. So if you're listening to this video, that means that you want to grow and evolve. So let's move into some really heavy duty work right now. So right now, we're going to use this amazing crystal that a biochemist in Germany put together, and it doesn't pick up any negativity, but it emits angelic presences. And there was a very strong meditation that was done on Tuesday at 12 a.m. at night that used these crystals and the Merkava symbol that went out to the planet. And I want to use everything that I was connecting to that is here right now, bring it in to everybody that's on this video Whether you see it on Sunday or you just tune into it, the power is still there to transform any blocks that you have to being your higher self and to be the change that you need to be to affect the change that is there for us to affect on the planet. Okay, so this crystal vibrates a tremendous healing energy of transformation for you. You just have to breathe and be honest with yourself and know that if you ask for a block to be lifted and for you to see from a higher potential and for you to receive support from higher angelic presences, beings of light, the universe, God, all there is, that is your birthright. All you have to do is ask and be open to letting go of the past and moving into the power of the present, the power of now, and creating your future from a higher, miraculous field of love dimension. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is to just take a deep breath in and imagine that there's a violet sun 6 inches above your head. And that as you breathe in, the rays of this sun comes in through the top of your head and goes through your whole body. You're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you need to close your eyes, that's fine, or you can keep your eyes on me. And I'll be channeling energy. Just keep feeling the rays of this violet sun, and now I'm seeing it surrounded by gold light, and I'm seeing the Merkaba come in that hexagram and surrounding my body and surrounding yours. And then as you're breathing, I want you to move into your heart center, which is in the middle of the temple of light, and just ask yourself, what am I holding on to that's blocking me from a sense of self-love, from change, from doing things and having a higher expectation of who I am and the support I need to receive? What's holding me back? Is there anger? Is there jealousy? Is there envy? Jealousy and envy just deals with a feeling like I can't have. It usually comes from a trauma from childhood that says you can't. Get past that, because yes, you can. If you let go of I have to have that, I have to have that person, then I'll be okay. I have to have that thing. Let it go. Start to feel like you're okay inside of yourself, and then you'll start to manifest the things that are truly going to make you happy, and the people that will come into your life that won't be there to just fix what you think needs to be fixed and to give you the things that you feel a void in. You will be that person. You will be that change. You can connect in a relationship, a job, a career where it is supporting each other's, bringing things on to a higher level. And that's where the joy, happiness, excitement of being alive comes in. Okay, so keep feeling the energy in your breath. I'm going to use the drum. Hold on to anything negative inside of you, jealousy, insecurity, I can't do it, it's not for me, anything like that. Hold it for the count of 5 around with the violet light, and then release it into a gold sun in the universe that's 6 feet away from you. So I want you to just breathe. Surround whatever negative feeling is with violet light in your heart center. Hold it for the count of 5, and then exhale into a gold sun in front of you, 6 feet. Okay, now take a deep breath in. I'm going to use the drum. I'm going to keep the drumming up, and you just keep working it, okay? Now take a deep breath in. You feel where that's clear. Now the whole technique is clear, shift. We're shifting our energy to be the change, and then we're moving into recreate. So we do that by feeling that there is a pearl at the tailbone. You're breathing it in through a straw in your mouth, through your nose, all the way up through the lower chakras, all the way up to the pineal, and then into your miraculous, whatever you think is your spiritual spot. Just say a word. God, the universe, angels. For me, it's the miraculous. Okay, so let's practice that. Take a deep breath in. Feel that white pearl going up, that canal inside of you. Lower chakras, survival. Higher chakras, creativity, solutions, divine, miraculous energy, up into those fields of fifth and sixth dimensional energies where miracles happen. And once you're there, I want you to just imagine for yourself and for the world exactly the change that you are aspiring to make as if it's already happened, and that the world is making as if it's already happened. And then everything is in place with a sense of thank you, thank you, thank you for the divine manifestation and for the help from all these beings of light and for our higher spiritual selves, the universe, God, and all there is. So I'm going to use the drum again, and I want you to feel the white pearl and just begin. Now, I want you to feel that really great feeling. Open up your eyes if they're closed. Take a look at the Merkaba and understand that that's the vibrational frequency that we're connecting to within our physical body. That's what's now around you as a source of protection and light. And then I bring in Connie Newton's prayer to the IA group. I am the light, and say it with me. The light is within me. The light moves throughout me. The light surrounds me. The light protects me. I am the light. And then, for the world and the oneness, we are the light. No matter who we are or what color we are, the light is within us. The light moves throughout us. The light surrounds us. The light protects us. We are the light. And the light will help us manifest our highest possible potential, personally and transpersonally, globally and universally. So breathe and feel that Merkaba and the light within inside of you and around you. Breathe. Now, I want you to practice this and connect with this energy and the energy that I've transferred to you and what I've said has been channeled in inspirational thought. I've worked with it for the week before, so it's not coming just off the cuff. It's coming from a higher level of consciousness, integrated into my own understanding and what I'm seeing and what I need to translate in my personality system. Work with it. You are going to see massive change go on, not only in your own life, but you'll see that this whole situation on the planet will even itself out. Just keep to your high-flying disc, your beam, your miraculous, your quantum field, your angels, beings of light, and God, all there is, and function from that place of consciousness as much as humanly possible. The more you practice, the more it becomes part of you, and the more that is who you are becoming. You are showing your magnificent self in service to mankind. So my love and blessings to you on your journey. The energy is always with you. Aleta St James.